Hey, there we go. All right, quick, lock the doors. The guy's going to talk about money, so. Hello, I'm Irwin Dolobowsky. I'm your treasurer that none of you voted for. You vote for the council, and they choose me. And I was the one who said yes, so that made me your treasurer.
You're welcome.
So my job is to oversee the finances of the church. Day-to-day stuff is handled by a real bookkeeper who actually knows about finances. I'm good at spreadsheets, I'm good at data, and so I was excited to do this and happy to dig into it. But part of my responsibility is reporting out to the church how we are doing financially. And I say we because this is our budget. If you are a voting member of the church, you chose our budget, you chose our expenses. It is not mine, it is not the church's or somebody's specific, it is ours. So if you are not a voting member, I encourage you to be one and come 6 months from now when we will vote on a new budget. So. Anyway, all right, next slide, please. So we're going to walk through the finances real quick. First of all, we'll talk about operating income. So this is the income we use to run the church day to day, to pay our bills, to pay our staff, all that. So for operating income, general giving is a bit short. This is kind of where we're at. I have a lot of theories on this. I won't share them all with you right now. If you'd like to discuss them, I'm happy to. But certainly, this has been a strange year economically for many of us, but giving has been, general giving has been down a bit from what we were hoping it would be. Otherwise, things are generally on track with our other funds. I'll say that the church building use and parsonage rental, those numbers are a little off. That's just a timing thing of when we get checks. Those are on track as well. So really just general giving's behind a little where we hoped it would be at this point. Next slide, please. There we go. Restricted income. So these are funds we can only use for specific purposes. Community initiatives have to be spent on things outside the church. So, for example, when we support New Bethlehem, we can use it for that. And then reparations, queer, thrivent. So these are things we can only use for very specific purposes. Generally speaking, we're doing pretty well. A little bit behind in a couple places. These are pulled, a little bit comes from general giving, gets put into these, but also, if you would like, you can donate directly to them. And we do have people who split between funds. So you can say, hey, I want to donate this to this to this fund. But overall, doing pretty well here. Next slide, please. Cool. Operating expenses. So these are our week-to-week, month-to-month expenses. Overall, and I give a lot of credit to the previous council and treasurer, we are at 97% of our budget. So a little ahead, but overall, pretty much on track to where we expected to be at this point. And now, on the next slide, of course, if you can do math on a Sunday morning, you're looking at this going, well, those two numbers are pretty far off. And yes, we are behind this year. We're about $30,000 behind where we hope to be. Now, don't panic. We're overall in a very good financial situation. For those of you who don't know, the church doesn't have a lot of debt. We don't pay a mortgage. We own the building. We've got a good amount of savings. So we're generally doing pretty well. But we're going to keep an eye on this and make sure things don't get out of hand, certainly. And we'll think about this as we do budgeting for next year, which will be starting soon. So not too bad. Next slide. And then this is our overall assets and liabilities. So assets are the money we have and the resources we have, including our building, our playground, all those things. And as you can see, the checking account compared to 3 months ago is about $30,000 behind. Giving's about $30,000 behind, so those numbers generally match up. And really our only liabilities are what we pay for benevolence to the ELCA, and then we've got a security account we keep for the folks who, security deposit we hold on to for the folks who rent the parsonage. But overall, our liabilities continue to be very small, and as I said, our current assets, we've got a good bit in savings, and our checking account is just that difference in expected giving. I'll note the brokerage account has some cash in it. That's since been sold. Our general process is if somebody does choose to donate stock, we sell it immediately and then just put the money into savings. We don't play the market or anything like that. So, cool. Pastor Ryan already went over the general giving options. I'm not going to ask for your money again. I mean, I will. I will just say, if you are somebody who does recurring giving, which is awesome, it gives us a kind of steady stream of income, double check and make sure you are still giving. I've heard at least one story of somebody who thought they were, and a credit card expired or a number changed, and they hadn't been donating for months, and felt badly about that. So if you are somebody who gives a recurring donation, please just double check and make sure it's still what you expect it to be. If you'd like to start, need any help, please let us know. But yeah, please check that out. The one thing I did want to do this morning, though, to wrap up, is talk about other ways you can help out financially with a church. So this is my first one. Does anybody know what this is? Yeah, all grants. All right, you got Hugh Grant, U.S. Grant, Cary Grant, Amy Grant. So we already have a number of grants that we get money from. They were on those lines. We just got notice of another one we can participate in. But we'd love help finding even more and applying to them. Usually there's some forms we need to fill out, and we could use help. We could also use help just finding them. Are there other ones out there? And this is a great one if you're somebody who wants to support the church but can't necessarily be here on Sunday. This is something you can do on your own time, right? You've got some time, sit down with a cup of coffee, do some Googling. We would love help finding grants, filling out forms, that sort of thing. It would be awesome. So, all right, that was my one big joke for the morning. So, other ways to help. The Finance Committee. The Finance Committee meets once a month for an hour, and these are other folks who help review the finances of the church. Greg, our former treasurer, Scott, and Dale have been doing this for a very long time and continue to do so, and I thank them deeply for their help. But Salt House, we cherish all the different voices we have here. We'd love some new voices. So if you're interested in helping, if you like balancing checkbooks, dealing with finances, it's literally an hour a month we meet, maybe a little bit more as we go into the budget, but it's pretty low commitment. And you can help us review the finances, ask questions, and learn a little more about it. I've learned a ton in my time, so. More counters are always great. These are the folks who hang out after church and count the donations we do bring in and bring them to the bank. There have been weekends where we haven't had people or the same people do it over and over. If you'd like to help, please let us know. And then an audit committee. We are supposed to do an audit regularly of our books. We're working on getting this together now, and this also you don't have to be a financial person to do this, but it requires people who are not on staff, not part of the council, to go over our books, make sure everything's on track. So these are other ways that you can respond and help us out. If you do have questions about any of this, I'm treasurer at salthousechurch.org. I'm easy to find. I'm often here working the booth as well. So please feel free to come ask me questions. We will do another update. I do these updates every 3 months. In 3 months, we should be mid-budgeting for next year. And so we'll have an update on that and then how we're going. So, and again, if you'd like to help out, certainly your financial donations are very much appreciated. I don't know if you're donating or not, by the way. I don't see that data. So you might be our biggest donor. You may never have donated. I'll talk to you all the same. But if you're able to help out financially or with any of those volunteer opportunities, we would really appreciate it. So thank you much.
Thank you so much.